right, good morning everybody. I am out here to finish up part 2 of the comparison I have done between the straight axle VRD builder's kit versus the portal axle Vanquish stance. If you watched part 1, you know that the straight axle truck pretty much just walked all over this portal rig as far as getting over obstacles, vertical climbs, and getting off camber. And now these trucks had 2 different sets of tires on them. I had the ruptures on the straight axle truck and the megalithics on the portal rig. And so what I have done is I have rotated the tires. So now we got the megalithics on the straight axle truck, and we've got the ruptures on the portal truck. And we're going to come back and we're going to run the same lines, do the same test, and see if we have any different outcome. Now, an interesting point that was brought up to me by a viewer in my previous video that I was not completely aware of is the fact that the portal truck has a 24% overdrive and the straight axle truck only has a 13% overdrive. Now, I thought they were the same until he pointed this out, and I went and looked it up, and he is absolutely correct. And now, at least in my experiences with my trucks, it seemed to me that the more the overdrive, or the greater percentage of the overdrive, the sharper turning radius they have, which, by the way, was not the case here. The straight axle truck had a sharper turning radius, and it actually has a lower percentage on the overdrive. So we'll see how that works out today. But anyway, another point that he brought up, involving the overdrive is, and I do completely agree with this one, and it was something newly pointed out to me, is that when you're off camber, the truck with the higher overdrive actually pulls the rear tires, and they slide, and that's what causes the back of the truck to drop down when you're off camber or side hill, and as some callers want to call it. But at any rate, we will put that to the test today and see if the the rotation of the tires make any difference, or if we still have the same outcome, or if there is a that big a difference in the overdrives on these trucks. And but at any rate, I am ready to get with this, and we'll head on over to the first feature and get busy. So see you in just a second. Okay, here we go. First feature, first try. I've got the straight axle VRD out here with the megalithics on it. Now, in part 1, I ran the ruptures on this truck. Now, I was able to get through all of these gates with no issues whatsoever right here. When I ran this line with my portal truck, I actually got hung up on this high spot, and I tried several times, and I just could not get the truck to turn sharp enough to, after it cleared the green ones, to get through the orange gates. So let's give this one here a try with the megalithics on it and see if the tires themselves made any difference. So here we go. Now this truck should be a little closer to the ground because there is the ruptures are a little bit taller than the megalithics. So far so good. Let's see if we can get over this. And if the differential doesn't get hung, we got it. And it did get hung up there. Oh, we got her loose though. So the truck being a little bit closer to the ground with these smaller diameter tires did cause the rear differential to get hung, but I did get across there and I did not touch a gate. Now, when these tires were on my portal truck, I tried this several times and I absolutely could not make that turn. I did have to back up right there. But I tell you what, I'm gonna bring this truck over. Let's try this one more time and see if I can get it without even having to back up. Okay, here we go. First feature, second try. I'm gonna see if I can get through here without backing up. And it looks like I'm going to be able to. Yep. All right, so second try, I was able to get through here without even backing up. So I'm very curious to see how the portal truck does with the ruptures on it versus this. So at this point, I'm satisfied that there is a sharper turning radius with this straight axle truck versus the portal rig, because that portal rig will not get through this third set of gates without touching them. So anyway, let's go get it, bring it back over here, and see how it goes. Okay, here we go. First feature, first try with the portal VRD. I've got the ruptures on here. It should be a little bit higher off the ground. Now in the first part of this video, comparison, whatever you want to call it, this truck did not appear to have as quite a sharp a turning radius as the straight axle rig does, although it does have a steeper overdrive. And I was not able to make the turn after exiting these green gates and clear the second set of orange ones. So let's see if it's any different with the taller tires on it. And this truck did get hung up on the rollover at the top with the smaller diameter megalithics, and let's see what if it does any better with these ruptures. We are definitely going to make the turn here if I don't clip the green gate on the other side, and I don't think we're going to. Interesting. All right, so with these taller ruptures on here, the truck actually turned sharper and got right through here flawlessly and did not get hung at the top like it did with the megalithics. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Okay, here we go. Second feature, first try. So I will walk into the first set of gates. When I come into the second set, I will come to a complete stop and let the rear tire settle into this low place and then see if I can crawl out of it. Now in the first video, this truck with the ruptures on it very easily cleared this obstacle. Front end stayed down, no problems. I don't think I touched any gates, but when I brought the portal truck over here with the megalithics on it, I actually flipped it over backwards trying to get out of this spot. I did come back a second try and cleared it. I may have touched one gate with it, but it did make the climb. So let's see how the straight axle truck does with the megalithics versus the ruptures, and here we go. Looking good so far. I hadn't got my cat out here judging gates today. Gonna have to kind of keep a closer eye on it myself, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna let it drop in right here. All right, there we go. Now this is where the portal truck would not climb out with these tires on. It wanted to flip over backwards. This rig went straight up it with the ruptures on it. So let's see how it does with the megalithics. Here we go. And no problem. Matter of fact, I'd say it done better than it did with the ruptures. And it looks like we're going to walk right out of here, assuming the differential doesn't get hung. That was me, a little jerky with the finger this morning. All right. So far, no issues with this rig. All right, let's move on to the third feature. Okay, here we go. Feature number 2, try number 1. In the last video with the megalithics on this truck, when I let the rear tire settle into this low spot and tried to crawl out of it, it flipped over and went plumb down in the ditch, if you remember. So anyway, we've got the ruptures on here this time. Let's see how it does. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, and we do have a right front off the ground, and it's not appearing to settle down, but let's see if this thing will climb out of here. Boy, let's try this again. Okay, I'm going to stop. It is not wanting to stay down. All right, I'm gonna come in at it one more time and give this a try. Okay, here we go. Second feature, second try. See if I can get through out of this low spot right here without the front end standing up. Here we go. I'm gonna try and get just a little further over to the right this time. Okay, there we go. It's about as close as I can get to that gate without touching it. Okay, here we go. Now we're just a touch further over to the right. Let's see if it'll climb out of this. Yeah, we got it this time, no problem. Maybe that was just a little bit of tire placement issue. And we have walked right through this. Okay. Did take 2 tries to get through there, but we did make it clean. All right, let's move on to number 3. Okay, here we go. Third feature, first try. Now this is a very difficult off-camber spot right here. In part 1 of this, I actually got right through here with the ruptures on this straight axle truck. First try, didn't get hung up anywhere, and I don't think I even had to back up. So we got the megalithics on here. Now let's give it a try and see if we have the same outcome or not. Truck is a little bit closer to the ground with these tires. Might even help it some. Let's see. So this is very important when you come through this second set of gates right here. The right rear tire has actually got to climb up just in front of that point right there. You will not make this feature right here. There we go, settle on back down. Looking good. We're gonna be very close on this back tire. You got it. So the next concern is going to be getting over this steep rollover at the top without the differentials getting hung, because it is lower to the ground with these megalithics. Let's see what happens. And we have got hung up. It seems to be going though. We'll have to do a backup here, looks like. All right, so I'm gonna stop that right there, because I don't like just sitting here spinning and turning the tires. You know, I feel like at some point there's a, you know, it's failed. In my opinion, as far as the rollover with these shorter tires, we were not able to get this top section of the feature. So I am gonna come back and try it one more time here and just be sure it wasn't, you know, I was off just a little bit on the line. And anyway, let me reset the truck and here we go. Okay, here we go. Third feature, second try. Got through the off-camber spot real easy, but I think with the diameter of these megalithics being a little smaller than the ruptures, it did hang the differentials up on this rollover up here. But at any rate, I'm going to try it one more time and see if I can get through here before I bring the portal truck out here. So here we go. See if I can make this 2 times in a row. Usually takes me about 5 tries to get through this right here, and I believe we got it this time. All right, we're gonna make this turn and pull up to the top. I'm gonna try and get a little closer to the right this time, see if I can get the differentials to clear. The front end will stay down. I think we're gonna be all right. And don't think it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. All right, so these smaller diameter tires right here will not clear the top of this third feature. So let's bring the pull rig over and see how it does with the ruptures on it. Okay. Okay, here we go. Third feature, first try. Now with the straight axle truck and the megalithic tires on it, I was not able to complete this feature and get across this steep rollover at the top. Now in the first video, with the megalithics on this truck right here, I was not able to make this off-camber turn right here and stay off of that gate. So let's give this a try and see if we can make this clean with the ruptures on here. Here we go. Now this should tell the tale about the overdrive right here. A viewer in the other video said that when you're off camber like this, a truck that has a very steep overdrive like this one does will actually pull the back tires and cause them to slide. And in my prior video, I could not get the rear tires through this second set of green gates without them slipping over to and touching this lower one right here. So let's see if there's any different with the ruptures on it. And it looks like it may be gonna, and it did. High overdrive or not, it absolutely got through there with no problems with these ruptures. And I feel very confident it'll get over this rollover up here. And it did with no problem. All right, third feature, first try. No problems with the portal axle stance. So let's move on to number 4. Okay, here we go. Fourth feature, first try. Let's see if we can get through here with the straight axle truck and the megalithics on it. So in the prior video with the ruptures, I was able to get right through here with no issues. See if we can get this rear end to hold on and not slip over. Ooh, it's gonna be close. No, whole truck slid. There's just not as much side bite with these megalithics as there is the ruptures. Let's see if we can get through the second gate. Not gonna make it. So I'm gonna roll this on out, and I will come back and give this a second try right quick and see if we can do any better. Let's see if it'll get through the tops. Okay. And we are getting hung up there, but I think we're gonna be able to get through. Yep, we made it. Okay, let's try this one more time, see if we can do it any better. Okay, here we go. Fourth feature, second try. First try, I was not able to get this truck to stay down off camber. It wanted to slip sideways. So let's give it one more try and just, you know, I don't want to make sure that it's not my driving. I'll see if I can hit a little bit of different line. But anyway, here we go, and let's see how it works out. I'm gonna get up a little higher this time. See if that helps. A little slip there. We may have, no. There's just not as much side bite in these megalithics as there is the ruptures. All right, let's see if we can get through this one. We actually got the second one this time. Let's see if we can roll out of the top without getting hung. Okay, we rolled through there. We are, you know, there you go. We are getting a little differential stickiness there because of the smaller diameter of these tires. And like I said, they definitely, to me, don't seem to have quite the side bite the ruptures do. But anyway, let's move on to feature number 5 and finish this up and see how this goes. Okay, here we go. 4th feature, first try. Now, in the previous video with the megalithics on this truck, I was able to clear the first set of gates. After several attempts, I could not get the back end to stay down. Every time it would slip over and it would bump this lower second gate right here. Did get over the top just fine. So with a little taller ruptures on it, let's see how this one goes. Here we go. See if this back end will hold on here. Oh, I'm afraid it's gonna jump. Yep, not gonna make it. Very close though. This is the one I'm curious to see if I can get through. I'm about as close to that top gate as I can get. We might make it here. And it looks like we did if the front end will stay down. Oh my goodness, that was so close. We did ever so slightly touch it, but with the megalithics on it, I could not get through it without running over the gate. So I probably with a little bit of, little more driving skills, might get through that one. And I'm positive we'll roll over this top just fine. Woohoo! Yeah, there we go. She's gonna lay down. Here we go. Okay, got the top set. All right, so there you go. So there was a definite improvement right here with these tires. Even with the steep overdrive in the truck, I ever so slightly touched that gate. But in the previous video, like I said, I tried several times with the smaller diameter megalithics, and I ran over the gate or to the other side of it every single time. So let's move on to number 5 and finish this up. Here we go. Okay, so before I move on to this last feature, there's one more thing I wanted to address. A viewer in the last video had commented that he felt like my steering issues, you know, I felt like one of the trucks had a little sharper turning radius, actually the straight axle truck, and he said that that was due to the offset on the adjoining wheels, which that have the megalithic tires mounted on them, versus the offset of the trail wheels is different, making the truck wider. Now, while he is correct, there is a negative offset on the adjoining wheels versus the trail wheels, but when they're mounted up on the truck, I'm going to show you here, they are identical as far as the outside of the tires. So there is not a difference in the width of these two trucks. Anyway, I did want to point that out, so let's move on to the last feature and see how this finishes up. Okay, here we go. Final feature, first try. Let's see if we can get this straight axle VRD with the megalithics up through here. I believe she's going to grab a hold and climb right up. My concerns right here is the rear end. When we start to make this off-camber turn, is it going to slip and come toward this green gate? Holding on pretty good so far. I think we got it. Yep. We can make this turn, we're out of here clean. And we got it. So that was actually a pine needle that hit that gate. That wasn't the tire. So we'll slide on off up here in Bigfoot, get us a little final shot, and we'll move over to the table and talk for a second, and that will wrap this little comparison up. Okay, here we go. Final feature. Let's see if we can get through here with the portal truck and the taller ruptures on here. This will be another one I'm curious to see if, because this truck does have the steeper overdrive in it, if the back end will hold traction. It did not do quite so well with the megalithics on it, but it does seem to be considerably better with these ruptures as far as the rear end slipping sideways when it gets off camber. So let's see what happens when the left rear tire comes around by this lower green gate. And it looks like it's holding pretty doggone good. So I'm going to say, apparently, even though there is the theory of the steeper overdrive pulling the front tires off camber, if you got a tire with the right traction, it'll overcome it. And apparently these ruptures have a little bit more side or off camber traction than the megalithics do. Also could have something to do with the diameter of the tire. All right, so walk right through there with no problem. So anyway, that was an interesting little test right there. I'm gonna carry the trucks over here to the table. We'll talk about it for just a second, and then we'll be done with this little comparison here. Here we go. Okay, so there you go. We have finished up part 2 of this comparison between these two trucks, and we also had a little comparison between a couple of very popular tires, the Jconcepts megalithics and the Jconcepts ruptures. Now, in my prior video, a viewer pointed out that the reason this portal axle stance would not do so well off camber, the back end was sliding around, was due to the fact it has the higher percentage of overdrive in it, and it's actually pulling and sliding the back turns when you get it off camber. Now that may very well be the case, but I tell you what, these ruptures will overcome it. Apparently they've got a little more side bite, and they will grab a hold even if the tire is being pulled and slid a little bit by the steeper overdrive. With the megalithics, they just didn't quite have the side bite that the ruptures do, and the back end would slide around. Now, there's also a huge advantage to the larger diameter of these ruptures versus the megalithics, at least as far as this straight axle truck goes. There were some rollovers that this truck got hung on that I could not get over with the megalithics on. Now, could I have sat there and bounced back and forth and throttled out of it? Probably, but I typically don't do that. I'm a crawler. I'm all about traction and tire placement, not momentum. But anyway, that's just me and the way I operate here. So anyway, there you have it, and I appreciate everybody watching. And like I said, if you're looking at these two rigs, you can't go wrong with either one of them. Maybe this shows you what you like or may not like about the two of them, and if they fit, which one fits your agenda the best, or just do like me and get both of them. Anyway, thanks for watching.